Welcome to Love to See It, a podcast about Peg and Mel. First comes love, then comes a ring that is definitely not an engagement ring.
And then comes a round of press in which Mel continues to insist that Cindy was definitely trying to force him into marriage at the end of Fantasy Suites week.
Oh, we're so excited to get into the press rounds post Golden Bachelor season 2 and see how Mel has decided to tell his story. And we don't love it. So, a little housekeeping before we begin. We've been covering season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives over on Rich Text. You can find those episodes over at claireandemma.substack.com.
It was a juicy season. And yes, we will be discussing the reunion that comes out in December. So
Yes.
watch that space on Rich Text.
Hosted by Stassi.
I know. I love it. I love it.
All right, so let's get into this post Golden Bachelor press rounds and gossip episode. So let's just start by really getting into all of the press that Mel has been doing. He's been giving some magazine interviews. He went on Bachelor Happy Hour. And I don't know if he did these at the same time as he taped After the Final Rose, or if he just isn't able to kind of pivot out of the approach he took, which did not
No.
win him any admirers.
Mel is who he is. He will double down. He will triple down.
Yeah.
He will be so honest that you wonder if perhaps ABC should have paid for a little bit more media training.
A little bit more media. You would almost think as a lawyer that he would be able to see that a strategy was not working and try a new argument.
He doesn't give a fuck, and I guess in a sense I have to hand it to him.
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't know when it's time to settle. He's like, no, I can win this case. So he talked to Glamour and People, and I thought that the People interview in particular was pretty shocking, but let's start with the Glamour interview. Um, they talked to Peg also, but Peg is just being like pretty gracious in all these interviews.
Yes.
She doesn't have a lot to say that's like really gonna ruffle feathers. But Mel told Glamour about the decision basically not to go after Cindy. He said, I had a deeper connection with Peg. I just did. Had it been reversed and, brackets, Peg left, I wouldn't have let her go. I would have told her, hey, look, stay here because we're going to work it out. Cindy didn't even utilize the fantasy suite, which she could have, but that's okay. She had her own decision to make, her own prerogative. My connection with Peg was much stronger. I think it's so interesting how he talks about the fantasy suite almost like it's like Phone a Friend on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, or it's like a cheat code in a video game. It's like she could have utilized that if she wanted to go further in the game, but she chose not to. And like, what am I supposed to do about
And
that?
you're like, yeah, because she realized it wasn't going to be her.
Yeah.
And you didn't want her in the ways she needed to be wanted. Like, it makes complete sense. And you're even now doubling down saying you kind of knew it was Peg. So who
Right.
cares?
Well, he wants to have it both ways, right? And that's an issue throughout his response to this. He wants to both say, it was Peg all along. I would have gone after Peg. Peg and I have a deeper connection. And also, Cindy could have won if she hadn't quit.
Right.
Those are not reconcilable.
No, those two things cannot be true at the same time. Either you were still truly open or you weren't, in which case, great.
Right. He wants to get to both be aggrieved at Cindy and criticize her approach to the end. And he also wants to be like, Peg didn't win by default. Look at my beautiful girlfriend. Like she's obviously the one. I think you
the
just have to
reality
pick the
is-
second. Just pick the
Yeah,
second
just
and go
pick
with
the
it.
second, because obviously Peg was the one. Obviously, they are a far better match.
Yeah, and
Like,
good for
that's
them.
just reality, and that's good for them. So you just got to let the Cindy thing go.
But he's not going to. And the more quotes that you see of him seeming bitter about Cindy, the more that you wonder where all the sour grapes are coming from. But more on that later. In this interview with Glamour, he also referenced Diane. He mentions something that I had forgotten in like the previous round of press coverage when he was not replaced as Golden Bachelor after that ill-fated podcast interview.
His first apology tour?
Right, when he was like, "Yeah, I am gonna do the show, and I have learned that I shouldn't have said that women over 60 are undateable." And he he's like, "Diane is the most reasonable person I've ever met. She's just so reasonable. She's deputy commissioner of the Big Ten. She's the attorney, spokesperson, and media person. She put together billion-dollar deals for TV, and she's a reality TV junkie too, which I didn't even know until she was setting me straight." Man, he knows his friends so well. "But she gave me good counsel. She really did." And they're like, "Oh, is this the friend that you mentioned in this earlier interview with us at Glamour when you were going on the show for the first time?" And he says, "Yes." So I went back and looked at that interview. And I have to bring this up because in our recap, was like, why didn't Diane tell him to date women over 60? And she did, to be fair. He's like, "My friend called me from Michigan. She's 65. I went to school with her. She's an attorney and a hotshot for the Big Ten in administration. I didn't know she's also a big fan of The Bachelor. She said to me, 'Mel, no, what are you doing?' She goes, 'I'm reading all about it. I didn't know that it hit that hard,' he says. She goes, 'You've got to right the wrong.' So I listened to her. That's how I found out, basically."
Oh my God. God bless you, Diane. You are out here doing the Lord's work. I'm like, this is what female friends do for straight men.
Right.
They just like gently educate them. And I guess that never stops. So I can look forward to having these phone calls with my idiot divorced male friends when at 65.
Just being like, "No, the bad person that you are, that's not you. You're actually a good person. Think about it. Try to be a good one."
Let me tell you how to do it.
She said at the time, "What you said was insensitive. It's just not who you are." And he says, "Well, my reference of dating was 39, 40 years old. I hadn't dated in 26, 27 years. That's what I told her." She goes, "It doesn't matter. You've said some things that are just incredibly wrong." And I just want to point out here that he is not really being accurate right now, in the sense that he's implying that 26, 27 years ago, he was dating 39, 40-year-olds.
Right. No, he was dating like 20-year-olds.
And in fact, what happened is that his frame of reference is around 45 because that's how old his ex-wife was when they got divorced 5 years ago.
Correct.
Because she was 20 years younger than him. So he's spinning a little bit. But regardless, thank you, Diane, for telling him
Lord,
to shape
Diane,
up.
like, thank you for your service. I'm sure Peg thanks you.
Yeah, so more great stuff about Diane. But let's get to this People interview, which, did you read this?
Oh, yeah. He has some thoughts about Cindy and how confrontational she was.
I just copy-pasted every quote from Mel from this interview.
That's appropriate.
He told People that their breakup was, quote, "a little confrontational." Quote, "Cindy was telling me what I was thinking and what I did, but she had the right to do what she did. She thought that I wasn't opening up or wasn't committed. I'm committed, just not to her."
Well, exactly, Mel. Exactly.
But like, you could have said that, because what she asked was, "Are you ready to commit to someone at the end of this process?" And you basically said no. You could have said yes, and I don't know if it will be you.
Right. Like, clearly she was picking up on something, even if you weren't saying it explicitly.
Right. Maybe what she was picking up on was just you really pulling back because on some level you knew it wasn't going to be her. But
And
she
I
has
will
every
say
right to
that-
respond to that. That is not her being
Yes!
confrontational or her judging you as a like, she actually was trying to figure out, is he not willing to open up or be committed, or is he just not willing to do that with me?
What's going on? Right. Is he willing to do both? She couldn't tell. I will say that on Bachelor Happy Hour, it seemed like Peg's interpretation was that on some level, Cindy had maybe picked up on the dynamic.
Think that's probably true. I think that's probably true. But the way that he continues to frame this as, well, Cindy knew what I was thinking and what I did, which is wrong. Like, she thought that I wasn't opening up or committed enough, which is wrong. Like, he sees that all as a judgment of him as a person.
Right.
And
rather than just an understanding that they weren't the right match, which he agrees with. That's why I don't understand.
Right. Like,
why
he's
he
like,
feels
she
so
should
aggrieved.
be evaluating me in this sort of neutral way. But it very much matters to her whether he's interested in being committed to her at the end of this
Yeah.
process. So if it's just not to her, then I think that's something that she might have some opinions and feelings about. He says, "My feelings were stronger for Peg, much stronger." That's not what he said at the time to Jesse. He was very clear at the time that he was not leaning either direction. And now he didn't know what to do. That's what he said. Like, he sat there with Jesse. Jesse said, "Are you leaning either way?" And he
And
said,
said
"No."
no.
Maybe was that bullshit? Quite possibly. But Mel, you've got to recognize that you're on the record saying something quite different. He adds that she wanted to be married off the island and professing her love till death do us part and off the island with a ring, and then it wasn't.
That's
Just
word salad.
I don't know what that is.
He says she basically quit on the relationship because one thing. Mel, was the one thing you didn't like her? Was the one thing you didn't want to commit to her in the way she needs? Like, that's not just like one thing. That's like major thing.
Again, it's like she quit because of this one thing. What's the one thing? My feelings for Peg were much stronger. I think that that is pretty salient to whether you should continue in a relationship. Like, what is she quitting if you're not really genuinely
Also,
open
here's
to
the
her
thing.
anymore?
Do I think you need to like get engaged to validate a relationship? No. But it seems like Cindy wanted that. So like she's allowed to walk away if you are telling her you can't give that to her.
Yeah,
It doesn't make you wrong or her wrong. It's just like this isn't a match.
it's not a match. She quit on the relationship. She's a quitter, Emma.
He's really stuck on this.
Mel doesn't date quitters. The NFL Sorry, this people write up. The NFL star notes that as a former pro athlete, he will, quote, never quit.
Never.
Because he's strong. That's the kind of guy he is. He never quits. It's easy to never quit if you just kind of wait for the other person to quit for you.
Right. He's
Like
like, I
what?
didn't quit on my ex-wife. She quit on me. Now I feel superior. Okay, dude.
I'm sorry, was he going to just stay in this relationship for no, at a certain point, one person was going to withdraw from the process. And it seems like you were planning to withdraw from Cindy in a day or two. So is it really quitting for her to affirmatively choose her own destiny here?
He's mad she took that choice away from him.
Yeah, he's mad she took the, but it really irritates
You
me
gotta
to
get
frame
over it,
a
though.
woman
You gotta just get over it.
choosing affirmatively to take the power into her own hands and say, I'm not continuing this process because I no longer see a relationship between us. To frame that as quitting when in fact it is the most proactive thing
Right.
she could do at this
Also,
point.
I think that it would just be so easy for Mel to frame this another way. He could even defend himself and be like, I felt a little misunderstood in that moment. I was trying to be really honest, and I really wish that Cindy had given us the chance to have some important conversations off camera. I didn't feel like I was ready to make that decision. But clearly she was, and honestly, I'm with the right woman. So
Right.
everything worked out.
You could do 3 minutes of media training and give Mel this line.
Exactly.
The problem is that he will not be satisfied until people think that Cindy is the bad guy.
It's just like, Mel, no one's the bad guy in this situation. There's no bad guy.
I don't know. He got his feelings hurt on a dock. So you're telling me there's no bad guy? Who did that to Mel then? Who hurt Mel's feelings? And where did she learn about quitting? Is that what cheerleaders do? Because NFL stars do not quit. They never quit.
Cheerleaders are famous quitters.
He says, that's how you learn, going through the process. I don't care if you're 6 years old or 60 years old. You learn that way.
She learned enough.
She learned enough.
I'm so annoyed with this. The next quote really got my blood boiling.
Oh. He says, she didn't want to do it, and she ejected. She's back to square one, and I got my girl.
That is gross, Mel.
That is mean.
That is so mean. Okay, what if she got to the end of the process and still ended up back at square one?
Everyone except you and Peg are back at square one
Right, that's
in this
how
process.
this works.
Right, and it seems like it was going to be Cindy who was back at square one either way, because your feelings for Peg were much stronger. So now you're sitting here mocking her as weak, and because of her weakness, she's back at the beginning, and because you were strong and you soldiered on, you got your you were the only person who was guaranteed basically to end up with someone. No points
Right.
for that.
Ay, ay.
I can't deal with this man anymore. Um, like there's just no need to paint it as a moral failing or a
None.
character failing or a weakness for her to have left at this point in the process. And to mock her for being single right
It's
now
so
is
gross.
gross. As for next steps in Meg and Pell's relationship, he tells people, we're
Meg
go-
Megan
Meg,
Bell.
Megan, we're leaving that in. They're Meg and Pell now. As for next steps in Mel and Peg's relationship, he tells people, we're going to just do what we do and have fun, and then it's going to grow from there. Nothing planning about the future of our love story. It's going to happen naturally. It's starting to feel mean how people is not like gently massaging his,
Editing.
because like sometimes when we speak aloud, weird word combinations come out because the sentence changes in our mind or whatever, or something sounds fine spoken.
Yeah,
But to leave
usually
it like
a
this,
journalist will, tweak,
all right.
edit, and condense.
Exactly. And again, even when he does talk about him and Peg at this point, it's starting to feel like shade. Like he's like, for us, we're not going to plan because that's what love is. It's
Y-
just about growing together. It's not about saying it's time to get engaged at the end of this process. It's just about having fun together. It's
Mel,
just going to happen
you gotta
naturally.
take that chip off your shoulder and set it gently to the
Like
ground.
you won. Like you won. Congrats. He says, I saw our love grow all the way through, and it's special when it's the right person. Again, feels like shade. We've spent some time together and we had moments together. We had some time. And one thing that I love about her is the energy and the get up and go. Seems like he's learned a lot more about her since the show.
The energy.
He's found out that she has energy. Did he know about that when he never mentioned it? Yeah, so I was really deeply put off by these two interviews.
Incredibly obnoxious stuff.
Yeah. And I will say that Peg throughout is just like, I'm so happy that
She's
I
so
found
lovely.
Mel and like we're happy. There was one notable moment to me that maybe is I'm only interpreting in a shady way because of Mel being so shady throughout. But Glamour asked her if she's spoken to Cindy, and she said, no, I haven't seen her. After the finale last night, we went to dinner with a few of our other friends. I just wanted something very low key, something peaceful. So the girls, the ones that I connected with, we just went and had a good dinner. I love Cindy. She's beautiful. She's smart. She's vivacious. She's very well spoken. And she's got a prerogative to live her life and find the love that works for her. It doesn't make her right. It doesn't make her wrong. Hats off to her because she knew what she wanted. She'll find it. She really will. She'll find that person that wants to be married quickly. There's nothing wrong with that. I love her dearly, and I hope that she definitely finds that for herself. Lovely. And then Glamour asks who they think should be the Golden Bachelorette, and immediately Peg is like, Debbie.
This always happens, though. The winning
I
couple
know.
never says the runner-up
They
should
never
be
do.
Golden
But I'm like,
Bachelorette.
what would be a great place to find someone who wants to get married quickly to someone who really believes in the process? Just saying. But yeah, that's really the only notable thing is
I
them
just
asking
feel
about
like,
her relationship with Cindy.
yeah, I feel like Peg. I mean, I would interpret it more shadily if we hadn't seen Peg like on the actual show in the moment affirm Cindy's right to make decisions for herself. And clearly they just don't look at relationships the same way, which is
Yeah,
totally fine.
totally fine.
But I think it's just got to be too awkward. Like if your partner is going around town with all this bitterness, like you can't be friends with Cindy.
No, like, and she's gonna invite Cindy out to dinner with herself and Mel. I don't think so.
Cindy doesn't
No.
want that either. No one wants
No,
that.
no one wants that. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about the happy couple's appearance on Bachelor Happy Hour.
And we are back, and it's time to get into the podcast
Mm,
sphere. Bachelor Happy Hour, baby.
yeah.
Peg and Mel went on Bachelor Happy Hour.
I
And
was hoping for more podcast interviews. Like, where's
I
Cindy?
know.
Where is she?
I feel like I'm like,
Are
are
they
people
giving
just
up
trying to move
because no
on
one
from this
Yeah,
season?
I feel like this season was not much of a hit, and so they're not doing as much press
They're
around.
definitely not pushing it.
Yeah.
I feel like
Um,
they're moving right along to like Taylor Frankie Paul.
I do though want I wanna hear, like, Cindy's unfiltered reaction to that after the final rose, because that's kind of the last we heard from her,
I agree.
and it seems like I would have a lot of feelings and
So,
thoughts
Cindy, you're welcome to come on the pod.
anytime. But of course, as always, Mel and Peg went on the established Bachelor Nation affiliated podcast, Bachelor Happy Hour with Joe and Serena, so that Joe can bumble
Oh
around.
my God. Serena really is out here doing like the Lord's work on that podcast. Just trying to
Uh,
really keep it on track. Joe's
Joe
out here just being like, this ring. How does a ring work if it's not an
he's
engagement?
like, "So this is a promise to get engaged, and then the engagement ring is a promise to get married?" And they're like, "No, it's
They're like,
not
it's
a
just
promise to
a
get
ring. It's just a
engaged.
ring for commitment. I'm like, Joe, it was a free ring.
It's a free
It's a
ring."
free ring from Neil Lane. It's gorgeous. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
It's to he's like, "It's to show that we're committed for now."
It's just, they're
A
like,
free ring to show that you're committed for now, why not? If you break
yeah.
up within the next 2 years, you can give it back. If
And
not, free ring for life.
Joe is so fixated on like, so does he have to get you another ring when you get engaged? He's gonna, right? And they're
Yeah.
like, we're not even.
Peg is like, "No, I love this ring. I
They're
don't
like,
want
no,
a
we're
different one."
good. And
And
also, we
Joe is
don't
like,
even
"Yeah,
necessarily
I got
want to
it."
get engaged. So, what are.
No, it was giving shades of, like, Chalk in the audience being like, "I just heard you say that you're not thinking about getting married and you don't care that much about it, but I think you 2 are gonna wedding bells? I hear wedding bells, anyone?"
I'm like, guys, they don't have to get married. It's fine. They've
And
been
Joe is
pretty
literally
clear.
like, "Oh, you don't want a different engagement ring? Okay, Mel, get her a different engagement ring." Don't trust a lady when she says she doesn't want a different engagement ring. She does.
The ring is gorgeous. She doesn't need another ring.
Yeah,
I
she's
don't know.
fine.
Get her a necklace. Get her another piece of jewelry if you have the cash lying around. Like, sure.
Get her a new dune buggy. I mean, Peg is a
Yeah.
woman of many interests, beyond jewelry. Um, so they talk a little bit about their journey on the show and, like, when they knew they really had a connection. Um, Peg says she knew it was going to be her at the end after the mud bath.
I was so surprised by this,
Me too.
but I kind of loved it. She basically made it sound like when she went on the show, she just expected for it to be an interesting experience. She did not think she and Mel would necessarily hit it off in a major way. And then they had this experience in the mud bath, and she was just like, holy shit, I think it's me.
Listen, sometimes when you have an experience in a mud bath with
You just
someone,
know.
you can feel things. And it seems like it was a very meaningful moment for Mel as well. And he talks later in the podcast about how it was like one of his favorite moments with Peg because he was really cold after doing the cold plunge. And then he got in the mud bath and it was warm.
Okay.
I was like, okay, but what about Peg made that made that meaningful?
Look,
Did
Mel
Peg
does not
warm the
have a way with his words.
did Peg warm the mud? But yeah, I guess that was just a really intimate and lovely moment between them. And at that point, she was like, "It's gonna be me." And she says after that, her only moment of doubt was when he knocked on her door in Antigua.
Which, fair enough. I also would think I was getting dumped.
Same. And apparently, this came on the heels of her being sick and bedridden for 36 hours. She looked great. I did
Yeah.
not realize
Well,
that
she
she
must have
was.
been on the upswing. Also, the fact that Mel was like, yeah, I did want her to think I was dumping her.
I
I was fucking with
appreciated
her.
that he admitted that because it was obvious that he
It
was
was
doing
obvious, but I was like, dude, that's not a flex.
Yeah, I just wanted her to really sweat. Well, I mean, I think the part of him that is upset that he doesn't get to dump one more woman is probably feeling some enjoyment at making that power felt in this moment. Like, I do have the power to make you squirm. I have the power to dump you. Like, just think back on Joey finding out on finale day that Daisy is taking herself out of the race. And there's no hint of like anger, like you took this away from me. But for Mel, it's like I do think that there's a part of him that kind of does enjoy being the decider. And he gets to experience that in those moments before he tells Peg that he's keeping her.
Yeah.
So I have to say this also reframed some of Peg's behavior on the show toward the end because she seemed so, like, unruffled and unbothered at various points when the other women were stressing, and you never really know why that is at the time,
Yeah.
because sometimes the people who seem the most bothered or that have the tensest relationship with the lead, that friction is there because they're so invested and
Yeah.
they really just want it to work, and the people who are less bothered, it's because they don't care that much. But in this case, it really seems like she just felt incredibly confident, so she wasn't worried about
I know.
having her heart broken.
Yeah. No, I like really aspire to be like Peg. I'm like, how
Right,
does one have this level of just quiet confidence?
right. Her daughter's like, "I don't know if Mel really likes you as much as I would hope," and Peg is like, "He does. It's fine.
Yeah.
He likes me the most. It's gonna be fabulous. Don't worry about it." And Mel says that he wasn't worried about saying I love you or a rush to commit on the show. He's like, I wasn't thinking about having to say those words or get engaged. And Joe is like, well, but what about the fact that you like knew that this was a show where those things happen? And Mel says, well, I just didn't know any of that because I don't watch the show.
He did no research, not even cursory.
So no wonder he was totally blind. But when he showed up and people kept talking about proposals and love,
I guess he was
did
just like,
that.
I don't care. I
He's
don't
like,
really
whatever.
care. Yeah.
That's just not me. He does say that he actually used to watch the show for about 5 years when the franchise first started, but then his kids were born and he stopped having time, I guess, to watch The Bachelor. And the modern show is pretty different.
I was gonna say, like, if you go
Yeah.
back to like Alex Michelle's season, it's a pretty different vibe.
Yeah, there was always the ring and the sort of this idea of the proposal, but a lot of the early bachelors were just sort of like, "What do you think? Should we date? Like, I think it would be cool. Like, I like you the most of everyone here."
Yeah.
And the vibe now is much more fraught with pressure to commit and to say, I love you. And Peg seems to also have not known a lot about the show. She had seen Trista and Ryan's season, and she points out that Ryan is a lot like her. She really relates to Ryan. She's like, people thought that Trista would choose the other guy, but she chose the firefighter. It's just like what happened on my season.
That's cute.
Speaking of being a firefighter, another thing that Peg says is that it was hard living with all of the women instead of the men in the firehouse because women can be catty.
Oh, I hate that.
This kind of annoyed me because in what way? Like, she goes on to say that she loved all the women and she became very protective of them.
That just indicates like you have a chip on your shoulder about women and you're like, I'm one of the guys. Like you're one of those women, which it's
Right.
fine. But like
It's
that's
fine.
that's fine.
It's not
But like
fine.
that is I think that is
Yeah.
a feeling that some women have about other women, and it's probably something that they need to like examine in themselves. Because as Peg is even saying, like she did have great relationships with all of the women. And there was very little conflict. Even like Nicole was really kind of it.
Right, like, what that's why I was like, "What do you mean they were catty?" Because I think that this is just an easy trope to
That's what
deliver.
I mean. I think it's just an idea. It's like, well, women are
Right.
catty, so I was nervous.
Yeah, it was so hard because they were catty. Catty in what ways? I don't know, you just know that women are catty, and I was living with a bunch of them, so obviously it was catty. It seemed like you guys all got along. Yes, I loved them.
Right.
Okay, so catty in what ways? Like, you're just kind of playing into these negative stereotypes about women overall and sort of positioning yourself as different because 'cause you're more comfortable with men. Men aren't catty. I really like Peg, but this is such an easy thing to fall into in an unexamined way. If you are working in male-dominated professions or, like, you have a bunch of male family members or male friends where you start to be like, "I think I'm different and I don't have all of the many feminine vices that other women have," and that's why
I'm
I'm just drawn
better.
to the strong, virtuous men, you know? What don't I like about women? Oh, you know what people say, like, they're catty, right? The individual women I know, they're actually all wonderful, and I love them. But women, broadly speaking, we all know that they aren't as good as men. I'm different, though. I work in a firehouse.
I'm one of the guys.
I'm one of the guys.
I'm one of them.
I'm sure it was very different, but I also was like, any cattiness that there is on the show is also very much about the setting. Like,
I
if
was
you
yeah, you're like, that's structural. And also men
right.
have conflict.
Right. When you put all of the men in the house and they're all competing for the same woman, we also see men get into conflict. It might look different, it might manifest differently, but that aggression that's brought out by competition over scarce resources, like that's not unique to women.
No.
Mel then claims that Peg was the only woman on the show who asked him about his sons. That cannot be true. I am convinced that I
If
saw
that's true,
other
that's
women ask him
crazy.
about his sons. Like, maybe she asked more in-depth questions about his sons, but I'm sorry, I don't believe that she is the only woman who ever asked him about his sons. We saw him talk about his kids with other women,
Yeah. Uh, okay.
and he doesn't seem interested in her daughter at all, which more on that soon, but, like, he's like,
But
"Obviously my boys, my sons."
she does gush about his sons.
She loves them. She's like, "They're so wonderful, they're so handsome and charismatic and fun." And then she starts talking about them in a way that I found weirdly well, it's almost infantilizing. She's like, "They're kids. You know how kids are. They're 18 and 20, by the way. They are legally adults." She's like, "So to get to know them, I brought that word association game because with kids, it's easier to get information out of them that way to know about their relationship with their dad. You can't expect an 18 and 20-year-old child, man, to be able to describe their relationship with their dad. You need to make a game with flashcards so that they can do that."
I will say it was a sweet way to kind of break the ice
I'm
and
not
make it less
saying it was
awkward.
bad that they did that, but I am saying that she is making it sound like they're too young.
They're 5 years old.
Then Mel says that he's excited to watch this part of the episode. I guess they haven't seen it yet when they taped this interview. He's excited to watch it because the boys weren't able to adequately describe the game to him such that he could understand what it was. And it was a pretty simple game. So again, I'm like, if I didn't know that they were 18 and 20, I would think that they were maybe 4 and 6. I've like the level of like these boys are small children infantilization happening in this portion of the conversation was so funny to me. Like they're adults. Women who are 1 year older than his older son have competed on The Bachelor,
Correct.
and they're
I
being talked
mean,
about like they are like little
he started dating his
babies.
wife when she was just a
Yeah,
few years older.
when she was too young to describe a simple word association game. When she was too young to respond to questions about the nature of her relationship with her parents with any level of clarity. And then they talk a little bit about Dakota.
And Peg
And
is so sweet about Dakota. I mean, she loves her daughter so much, and that was
yeah,
so evident and beautiful on the show.
yeah. And obviously, Dakota played a big part on the hometown date because she was asking some really tough questions of Mel, and Mel did not seem eager to answer. And I will say I think the nicest thing that Mel says about Peg's daughter is that she was very direct. He keeps being like, "Dakota was very direct." There's none of this, like, gushing over what a wonderful person Dakota is or their wonderful relationship. He's just like, "The questions she asked me were direct, and I have to give her that." And Peg wants to talk about how proud she is that Dakota is strong, she's not intimidated, she can go toe to toe with anyone. That's how she raised her, and, like, it makes her feel good to know that her daughter is gonna be able to take care of herself, we're not always going to be here. And at a certain point, like, Mel breaks into this and is like, and I answered her questions really directly. Like,
Mel.
and without misleading her, without overstating anything, I directly answered her questions. I'm like, Mel, this would be a wonderful opportunity for you to gush a little bit about
To be like, yeah, I was
Peg's
so
daughter.
impressed. I was so impressed with her in that conversation. It's been so nice to get to know her better. No.
Right. Or like, even I wasn't sure how our relationship would be after this conversation because she was really grilling me. But now that I've gotten to know her better,
Well,
like,
yeah, we're so
here's what I love
close.
about her. He's like, the important thing about Dakota
Is me.
is me.
It's me.
And how well I answered her questions. He does explain that the reason that he was being so terse in answering her questions is because he's a lawyer. He's done depositions for many years, and that is how you answer questions. You don't offer additional context or information. You just answer the question as stated. And that's what he did. So when she was like, "How do you feel about my mom?" The only direct way to answer that is to say, "Good," or
Good.
"Great."
What do you like? Her spirit. What do you like about it? Alive.
To
It's-
offer more words would be putting himself in legal jeopardy, I
Yeah.
think is clear. That's a pretty narrow question. You've got to keep it to 1 to 2 words. Mel's main priority at every point in this interview is just defending himself against
He's
any
like, I never
criticism.
lied, and I never lied, and I never misled, and I was honest.
And in a way, I'm probably the best to ever do it because of that. They do talk about the fantasy suite. Peg says that Mel was a chatty Cathy. This is one of her favorite phrases. She says that Mel was a chatty Cathy in the fantasy suite. And she says even she was surprised and thought he seemed totally different away from
He
the
must
cameras.
be. He
Yeah.
must be. Everyone's constantly being like, oh, Mel, you're so funny.
Right? And even when people would be like, "You and Peg are the same person." Where?
Only off camera. He can't, we're never going to see that side.
I
of
mean,
Mel.
it's kind of an indictment of Mel as a reality show lead, not as a person, but as a reality show lead and of casting. That
Yeah.
someone who was completely unable to embody his own personality on camera, who was so stiff and clammed up on camera that he was unrecognizable even to the women he was dating. Like, that's not good. Like, you wanna cast someone who can bring that out on camera and who is not completely stifled by them, and clearly that's not what happened this season. Mel does, however, manage to say some very specific and sweet things about Peg, so I listed
He's
them.
so into Peg.
I
He
do
just
believe he
is.
likes
and
yeah.
I really believe it. And I really believe that they are a good match.
He says he loves that her career showed that she is caring and gives back. He loves that she has energy all the time, not just some of the time.
Couldn't be me.
So I'm like, I have energy 0 of the
Yeah,
time.
almost none of the time.
He loves that she is crazy in a good way. And he also keeps saying that he had a crush on her since he first saw her in her gown night 1
My God.
after she got out of the bomb squad outfit. And he said to himself, "That's my gal right there."
That's really sweet.
Yeah. He describes, like, also that mud bath moment. In addition to the mud being warm, he's like, I just had this cold plunge and I was really cold. And then I got to get into a nice warm mud bath with my crush. He keeps calling her his crush.
That's
And I was like,
cute.
that does sound nice. I
Yeah.
can see that would be pleasant. They talk about their future plans. And Mel will not stop saying that they're going to the Hobnobble Gobble and asking people to Google it. He asked us to Google it like 7 times. This made me determine not to Google it, so I didn't. Take that, Mel. But apparently it's bigger than the
But
Grammys.
what is it?
It's, My assumption, and again, I did not Google this because I refuse, but my assumption is that it's some sort of, Thanksgiving themed gala, probably charitable in nature that,
Okay, yeah, it's a black tie fundraiser that takes place at Ford Field.
sure.
Uh,
He
yeah.
got you to Google it.
He did. I'm sorry, I needed to
Someone
know.
had to, someone had
Yeah.
to. And it's bigger than the Grammys, Emma. It's bigger than the Because when I'm thinking of a big event, I'm always like,
The Grammys, is
is
it
it the
bigger or smaller than the Grammys?
give it to me in Grammys. Is
Yeah.
it half a Grammys?
Like, not the
1
Oscars,
Grammys?
please. Please. The
Well,
Grammys.
he's a Detroit boy, so the musical awards are
Right,
obviously
right.
the ones that he's thinking of. And then they list off a lot of travel plans they have,
I love that.
including Rio for Christmas.
Oh, sick. I wanna do that.
I know, and he's like, "My sons aren't invited. It's okay, they play baseball, so it's fine." And Peg talks about how people don't understand that it's actually really nice to be in your 60s and retired and be done raising kids and just have plenty of money from your career so that you can just travel, you can have multiple
I
homes, you
mean,
can
yeah,
do
like,
whatever
I
you want.
literally want that life,
I was like,
obviously.
hot take. People understand this. I
Yeah,
don't
like,
think
it's
anyone is confused that it's nice to be a wealthy retiree in your 60s.
it sounds great.
I think she's responding to people being like, "Don't you wanna get married and settle down?" And she's like, "No, you don't understand. It's actually really nice. We have lots of money and nothing to do but travel and amuse
No,
ourselves." No,
that,
that's
like,
all you need to
truly
say. I
sounds
get it.
wonderful. Yeah, sounds you're right, no need to get married, go to Rio.
100%. Like, yeah, I'm already looking forward to being in my 60s and
Going to Rio.
going to Rio. Like, I just assume that our generation too will be enjoying the fruits of
I
a very
ho
long a very long retirement traveling the world.
Yeah, we'll unfortunately be working till we're 85, but, that does sound really nice.
Yeah. No, I'm happy for them. I understand the appeal and I support it. So overall, my impression of this interview, aside from what we've already said, is that it seems like this was taped before the finale because he hadn't seen everything.
That's why he was a little less bitter than in, like, the Glamour interview.
Slightly less bit yeah, less time spent talking shit about Cindy. He had other things that he was defensive about in this interview, but there were things that came up before the finale that he had already seen people's responses to. Like, "Oh, you don't think I'm adventurous because I didn't wanna swim with the stingrays? I played in the NFL, okay?
Mel, one
I'm
of the things we
adventurous."
liked best about you is that you were, like, unafraid to be a little scared.
Yeah, but he's actually very invested in his image as a strong masculine man,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I wish he weren't. But yeah, all of that aside, they seem happy, and I wish them the best, and I wish for Mel to kind of let go of
Me
whatever
too. Just
resentment.
move it along, buddy. Enjoy your trip to Napa on Warner Brothers / Disney / ABC. Like,
Yeah.
go to Rio, live your fucking life. It's
Like,
the rest is irrelevant to you.
Cindy cannot make people think badly of you if you put forward a better face. Like, I'm sorry, if you were gracious in these interviews, then people would be very quick. I think I would be pretty quick to be like, they just
Yeah.
misunderstood each other. They weren't right for each other. The end. The more you talk, the more you seem like the
Right.
villain.
The more annoyed.
Yeah, the more annoyed I get. Hopefully he got it all out of his system and they
Yeah,
can focus
look.
on going to Rio.
Enjoy your beautiful life
Yeah.
with your new partner, Peg. Like,
And
let the rest go, babe.
your two extremely gifted baseball player sons that she adores, and her daughter that you don't remember is there unless she's asking you very
Her
direct
daughter that
questions.
you behaved perfectly towards, and that's what's important. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to get into some other gossip and news, including some little sneak peeks of Taylor Frankie Paul's season.
And we're back. So now that we've covered the post-Golden press rounds of Megan Powell, let's get into some non-golden news and gossip.
I want to talk about the fact that Ashley Iaconetti, married to Jared Haben, is officially joining the Real Housewives of Rhode Island, which is coming sometime in 2026. And the first trailer dropped at BravoCon, which just happened in Las Vegas. I think we've known that this was likely happening for a while. The rumors had been swirling. I think people had seen Ashley filming, but we got a trailer and wow. Wow. I was just really, really reminded that the Bachelor brand of drama is so different from Real Housewives.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that they are presenting Ashley as kind of the Chrishell. It's
Yeah.
like she's new to Rhode Island. It's a small state. They've known each other since they were babies. And Ashley has only lived in Rhode Island for a few years. So where did she come from? Like she crash landed from outer space. And she also comes from a very specific, yes, like corner of the reality universe. They clearly were all cast in more sort of the traditional Real Housewives vein. And from the trailer, they're presenting it as sort of like here she is entering this cutthroat like pool of sharks who are going to make her cry all the time because she's not one of
She's just
them.
constantly crying. That's her main contribution. Besides voiceover, her main contribution in the trailer is just like, oh, Ashley's crying again.
I mean, it's fan service. Like I'm sorry, Ashley I is a big draw, I think,
Oh,
because
for me, here's the thing. I
she's
would
already famous.
0% be watching The Real Housewives of Rhode Island, except that Ashley Iaconetti is on it. And
Yeah.
so therefore I will have to check it out.
Like maybe I'm biased because I'm a Bachelor Nation person. For a lot of people, I'm sure she's nobody, but I think that she gives them that ability to have their central character be both like the newcomer outsider to an established group and also be the
A known
person that
entity.
a known entity that like a lot of the audience will know the best of anyone on the show and already feel that affinity with. And I think it then also makes sense to have her be doing her thing, like fan service. Like, what does Ashley do? She
She
cries.
cries. She cries.
And I think also that fits her role as sort of like the newcomer who struggles in the shark infested waters of the Rhode Island socialite scene. Because if she were like number one mean girl, that would not fit with
No,
that role on the
Ashley's
show.
not. She's just not. That's
She's
not who she is.
she's just sad.
I just need Ashley and Jared's marriage not to like fall prey to the housewives curse.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not familiar with Ashley in any other dramatic context other than crying over a guy, right? Like, obviously, she's going to cry over some interpersonal drama. But when it involved Jared, we also saw her sometimes, yeah, get a little mean, like do a little light bullying, like make Kayla leave the beach, you know? And it's hard for me to see, like, we've never seen her get a little bit like sharp elbowed once she doesn't have any like romantic prospect. Like that's the
I
Bachelor
know.
thing. Here it's something different. So is she going to really like get in there when it doesn't involve getting to marry Jared?
I'm so curious to see how this dynamic is going to play out. I noticed that Dolores Catania from Housewives of New Jersey, and also of course the Traders.
Yes, I knew I recognized her. Yeah.
Yes. We know her from Traders because neither of us watch Real Housewives of New Jersey, but she is like a friend of on Rhode Island.
Well,
So
we're all like all these little states all packed in up, up north. It's a very quick drive to come visit. Yeah, I was excited to see her. I think that like they're teasing a lot of like juicy drama, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling with the fact that the cast all looks the same as each other. I think this is just the
except
case.
for Ashley.
Except for, but even like that's because I know Ashley. I think that on these shows, it takes me a while to be able to tell apart all of the women who have like the same hair color and same length of hair and same style of makeup and dress.
I know. We're going to need to spend a little bit more time with them before we
Right.
can
They're
differentiate.
all like so regionally like aligned. It's like that exact regional flavor of that kind of like flashy, wealthy aesthetic
No, like the woman
They
who
all
is
look the same.
Dolores's friend, I was like, "Are they sisters?" Like, they look
Maybe.
the same.
They're, like, all brunettes, and they're all wearing, like, the same kind of clothes. I was like, "It that," but I know after a few episodes, I'll be able to understand, um, who hates who and
But
all
I'm
of that.
excited. I think this is inspired. I do think that Ashley is a really compelling television personality. Um, and it'll be kind of fun to
The rest of
see
the
bits
cast
and pieces of
looks
their lives.
it looks like they're gonna bring it. Like,
Oh,
I'm definitely
well,
intrigued.
that's why I was laughing, being like, the contrast is so clear because the rest of the women who are cast are like, I am here to fight. I am here to talk about like the affairs you had. Like, I am here.
Yeah.
Like, they're just getting into it. And Ashley's like, doop de doop de doop. Tears, tears,
Yeah.
tears.
The funny thing about The Bachelor is that there is drama and there's always, especially historically, that like the claws are coming out and like you put 30 women into a mansion with one man, like obviously things are going to get messy or whatever. But in reality, there are a lot of social pressures to get along
Yeah.
because the villain is never the wifey. Like it's a bad look to be involved in drama with other women to the lead, to the audience. Everyone wants to just coast through this season as the sweetheart, right? On a Real Housewives show, there is no role for you on the show if you're not getting into conflict with other
Oh,
women.
yeah. No, you have to be able to sustain shifting alliances. You have to be able to bring storyline year after year. Like, it's a tough job.
It is, and, like, most of them will end up sacrificing their marriages to
They
the
will.
cause, like, it's tough personally, it's tough, mentally and emotionally, I'm sure, but that is what they do in order to be at the pinnacle of their reality TV field, and it's gonna be definitely, as you said, a new brand of drama for Ashley,
I
so,
also would imagine it will be good for Ashley and Jared's coffee shop.
yeah.
I mean,
I
you all
mean, it's
gotta
gonna be
you
like the new, Something About Her.
yeah.
Something About Her for Rhode Island. Um,
So
sh
that's coming next year, and I am ready. I'm ready to watch.
yeah, I'm excited. Just when I'm pulling away from Bravo, they reel me right back in.
I know, I know. They got me.
They got us. So, let's talk about Taylor Frankie Paul and what's going on with her
Oh my
filming.
gosh. This so much information is dripping out about this season, and I was just like, are they doing the Secret Lives thing with The Bachelor, which is give people a ton of information during filming to the point where you are engaged with the content for months and you kind of get to the point where you think maybe I know everything, so what's even the point? But then they've managed to keep some key things under lock and key.
Do you think that they're gonna be able to keep the winner?
I actually don't. I actually think that it's very unlikely that by March, like if they were dropping it in
Yeah,
January, maybe.
maybe.
But I think given that it already seems like it's pretty easy to identify at least her top like 8 to 10,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that they're gonna successfully be able to keep like the final 2 a secret. But I almost think they are banking on the fact that that doesn't necessarily matter because there's gonna be enough to tune in for.
Yeah, they're trying to keep the interest level high. They're letting her, like, post content
Yes, she
from the
has her
show.
phone, at least in a limited capacity during filming, which is definitely smart because also, like, it allows her to capitalize and, like, promote Secret Lives while she is filming The Bachelor. They're doing some real network synergy with Taylor.
Yeah, like, I've never seen leads, like, posting TikToks of them getting ready for dates on the
With their
show.
producers.
Right. Um, so that is, like, keeping the buzz going, but it's a long time to sustain buzz, like, to
I
sustain it
know.
all the way to March.
I started to wonder, like, are we gonna get season 4 of Secret Lives before March? Probably not.
Yeah. I Are they filming right now?
Mhm, they've been filming since before Taylor left to film
Yeah.
Bachelor, so I think she'll be absent for probably the back
I
half of
wonder
season
if
4.
they're gonna do it at around the same time.
Yeah, I'll be very curious to see. When did season 2 come out? Okay, so season 2 dropped in May.
Season 3 in November. So that's like 6 months.
Yeah, I guess it could be maybe they are gonna have Bachelor run, like, right into season
Yeah.
4 of Secret Lives, which would take us back in the timeline, but
And then we're just layering.
yeah.
Like, first we have the social content that's not giving us the whole story, and then we get The Bachelor, but that's not giving us the whole story, and then we have Secret Lives of Mormon Wives that's gonna show us even more unfolding off camera after she wins, presumably, or after she picks a
She
winner.
Yeah. Fascinating. It's all going to be so fascinating.
Yeah.
They are approaching her as the lead in just such a different way, which I think is smart. I think they kind of have to. She just is a very different figure.
I feel like they've been resisting for a long time, like, leaning into the influencer thing, leaning into leaks happening and people having some idea of what's been going on the show. They've been resisting those forces for a long time, while a lot of other reality shows have profited by leaning in and being like, we're going to cast influencers, we're going to leverage their existing audiences, we're going to leverage their skill at the form of promotion. We're also going to lean into spoilers because those get people talking and speculating. Sorry, my ring light just went out. But other shows are leaning into having these spoilers that get people talking about what might be shown on the show. Maybe they're just like very quickly going all in on
Adapting.
those things. Like they're just like, it's time. We're going to do it to the max. We're going to go maximalist with all of these new devices.
Honestly, they kind of have to
Yeah.
because they like spoilers have been out there for almost every season for years now. That's
Right. Like,
been part of it, but they've tried to ignore it.
right. Like I'm saying, oh, we'll definitely know her winner by March. Like we haven't known the winner of almost every Bachelor franchise
Right.
show before it aired for years. Yeah, no, it's true. You might as well get the benefit of spoiler culture as well as the cost at this
Yeah,
point.
and also honestly, I am enjoying Taylor's little TikToks.
Yeah, absolutely. She's good at what she does.
They're also allowing her to make content on dates where they know there will be leaks anyway.
Yeah. Like public dates.
Yeah, public dates, which happen every season. There are always leaks from those dates because there is a public audience. You know, for example, she went to a Raiders Cowboys game on a date. Like, that's out there. Um,
Right. She went to the Chippendales and like the guy who won the challenge on the date, the Chippendales challenge, were seen having private time in public and photographed. So there's like extra interest in those moments now that she's not just the lead, she's someone that people are actually sort of interested in. I will say, like, it sounds like they've been canceling us like a lot of the public dates.
oh, really?
Yeah, Reality Steve was talking about it on his podcast, but like there are at least like two group dates that were supposed to be public,
Oh,
and one ended
interesting.
up being on the day of the LA Dodgers victory parade. And so he was like, we thought maybe it was canceled because people weren't going to be able to get there because of road closures and just everything was topsy turvy in the city. But then the other date was in Colorado, I think, a group date that was supposed to be public. The audience was canceled, and it's unclear why that would have happened. So I don't know if
Interesting.
they're actually maybe trying to clamp down a little bit after all. Like,
Yeah, or
why
maybe,
would that
yeah,
happen?
who knows? Maybe they're just realizing they need to have greater control over what's leaked and what's not, and they want to plan that more carefully. But that is odd.
Yeah, it does. It struck me as strange. I was like, what's going on there? But it's possible that like doing it this way with someone who is already pretty famous and there's all this buzz around the season that maybe those group events are inviting more like unwelcome fuss
Yeah, I
than
was
they're used
also
to.
wondering if there are like security concerns.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Demi tried to come. Like,
I mean, we know we're gonna see at least a few of the secret
Yeah, I don't think
Wives
Demi was
cast.
invited.
I don't think Demi is one of them, especially from what we saw from the reunion promo.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem
Ugh,
like Demi is on a good terms with anyone. So
yeah. Can we briefly discuss that? Because the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives reunion promo was wild. We will be covering the reunion over on Rich Text, where we cover Secret Lives of Mormon
yeah, so
Wives.
if you are interested in more of the like Taylor Frankie Paul lore or what is going on her other show leading up to this filming, check out our coverage over there. But yeah, the reunion is coming December 4th. It is being hosted by Stassi Schroeder. Last season it was hosted by Nick Viall. So it seems like they are pulling from that group of former reality stars who are now like major media figures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
podcasters.
they're podcasters
Yeah.
to
Listen,
host the reunions.
give jobs to podcasters.
I love it.
I
I love it for
support
us. We're in
podcaster opportunity.
solidarity with Stassi and Nick.
Yeah, we're the same. Yeah, so we've seen very little of the reunion, just this little teaser, and it's obviously chopped up. It's hard to know what is being juxtaposed through editing and what is actually happening in response to each other. But there is a really shocking moment where Demi says to Macy, like, I know you got slapped or whatever. And I'm struggling to think of a context where she could be saying that is not making light of Macy's history with domestic violence. So I'm like
yeah.
already like, I don't know.
It just seems
I'm
like things
terrified of this reunion.
went south with Demi basically immediately after she made like a play for peace.
Yeah. So that's gonna be
Yeah, and she hasn't promoted the
interesting.
new season of Secret Lives at all, and it's not in her Instagram bio. So,
Mm.
who knows, but seems like she and Brett are gonna be on the defense at this reunion. She did not show up to the last reunion. Seems like
Yeah,
they
that's
compelled her
right.
to be at this one.
What do you know? I'm going to Disney World again. They were like, "You're
Again.
not getting Disney World tickets."
Yeah,
Like,
like,
I'm sorry.
absolutely not, babe.
We control the flow
Yeah.
of Disney World access.
You
Didn't
can
you
go
know?
another time.
Yeah. There's a big picture of you and Brett up at the entrance of every Disney World and Disneyland around the
Do
entire
not let
globe.
these people in on this day.
She's supposed to be at the reunion. So that'll be interesting. But let's get back to Bachelor stuff. So I'm excited to see what more we hear from Taylor Frankie Paul's season. We're going to be discussing like the list of men who leaked and um
Who were released.
leaked.
Who
Yeah,
were
yeah,
released.
leaked is the wrong word, but they didn't do the official cast bios yet.
No,
They just
not yet. But the initial
Yeah.
men, I think several of whom were probably cut from the final
Right.
cast.
And
But yeah,
we
we will
normally
be doing a little.
yeah.
We'll be doing a little preview in the next few weeks, just because obviously we have to wait a few months before.
We're so thirsty.
We're so
We
thirsty.
need something.
And there has just been so much out there. So we'll get more into some of that. Also, just a reminder to anyone who maybe missed our initial episode on Taylor Frankie Paul that we released when she was announced. That also includes a lot of her backstory. So you can scroll back in the feed and find that if you're interested.
Yes, good call. It's out there. We talked about it,
Yeah.
and we're going to talk finally about these men and some of the other little tidbits that have been coming out next week. But I
Some
think we
other
just
little goss.
yeah.
Jason Tardik has a new girlfriend, and she is a dog rescue founder named Catherine Hurley.
Yes, he met her when he adopted a dog from her rescue this spring.
It's beautiful.
This dog is actually pretty famous already in the Bachelor Nation gossip circles because he named the dog Teddy,
Right.
and that made his ex, Caitlin Bristow, incredibly angry because that was her baby name. And that very Teddy led him to his new love, dog rescue founder Catherine Hurley,
Wow.
who was previously married to a singer-songwriter named Rajiv Dal, who I was not familiar with. But anyway,
But he does have a Wikipedia.
he has a
so-
Wikipedia. She seemed like a big enough deal that I thought I
Yeah.
would mention it. in case you've heard of him. But she is, I think, 32 and divorced and has a dog rescue. So
And
dogs really do
she's
bring
based
people
in
together.
Nashville, right?
I believe so,
Because
yeah.
I know that Jason is now back and forth between Nashville and New York.
Yes, it is a Tennessee dog rescue,
So,
and there you go. And also being married to a musician is a very Nashville thing to
yeah,
be.
no, it
I
really
was like,
is.
where are you gonna find so many people married to musicians other than
Nashville.
Nashville?
So good for Jason, wishing him all the best.
And another new relationship in Bachelor Nation.
I love this one.
This I did not see coming. I was like, am I confused? What's happening? Medina Alam is dating Aaron Bryant.
We love a good crossover. We love a good wider Bachelor Nation meet cute.
Yeah, they're like, we didn't even need Paradise. Well, he went on Paradise, but Medina was on Joey's season, not on Paradise. Aaron was on Charity's season. He went on Paradise and got engaged to Eliza, the much sought after Eliza.
I
That
forgot that
didn't
he
work
had
out.
gotten engaged.
Me
I've really
too.
cleared my brain of that brief moment.
A lot of those Paradise engagements
They don't
from the
feel
last few
real
years, it's like, yeah, it's like a fever dream. It's gone in a moment.
because it's like half of them by the time the show airs, they're already done. So like I forget that they got engaged.
Right, the relationship makes no greater impression than, like, any other relationship that happened in the
Exactly.
course of Bachelor in Paradise. But Medina and Aaron have been dating, and Aaron posted a video of them recently embracing with the caption, "F a soft launch," and, like, the heart on fire emoji. Medina has been posting, like, carousels and stories with, like, coupley content of them together.
That's so cute.
Very cute, good for them. Um, I Medina, her time on Joey's season kind of devolved into just, like,
Oh,
drama that she did not wanna be involved in,
yeah. No, she
so
had a bit of a rough go. So I'm happy that she is happy and they're just both very beautiful,
yeah,
as people in Bachelor Nation tend to be.
yeah.
You're just like, wow, two more beautiful people being beautiful together. Love that for them.
Love that. Katie Bigger and Zach Shallcross had a party to celebrate their wedding. They had, like, a little
Yeah.
small, like, almost elopement, very small ceremony when they got married, so they had, like, their big party,
It
and
looked
everyone
really,
was there.
really, really cute. They looked so happy. There were a bunch of Bachelor Nation folks in attendance, and it reminded me that the trifecta of couples is still going strong.
Yes.
Katie and Zach, Charity and Dotton, Kelsey and Joey, they're all like besties,
They're
and
like
it's
this
very sweet.
they're a very strong three-link
Daisy
chain.
chain,
Daisy
yeah.
chain, yeah, like, right in the middle of carnage.
Yeah, it's very, very sweet, and it's I was also so struck by the fact that clearly Katie and Zach are still very close with a lot of the women who were on his season.
Well, Katie has al she was, like, such a bestie of all the women, like,
I know, but
even right
it
after
speaks
the
really it's
finale
that's
when
true. She and Gabby were, like, still super close.
even though everything that happened with Gabby was obviously very hard for Katie, where Zach came to her and he was like, "I promise not to sleep with anyone, but then I did sleep with your best friend, Gabby. I'm so sorry, but I wanna marry you." Then he had to dump Gabby after he slept with her, and it was horrible. They were like they never stopped being close despite
It's
that.
actually impressive.
Yeah,
Like,
and
all of these folks are very close with each other, and it's very, very sweet. At the wedding party, Gabby was there with her fiance, and then a bunch of other women: Jess Gerard, Ariel Frankel, Davia Esther, Mercedes Northrup, Kylie Russell. They are all from Zach's season, and they
yes.
were all there. Plus, I saw that Latia was there, Latia Gar from Grant season, and Susie Evans.
Gosh, remember when Latia was Grant's runner-up and we were like, "They're gonna do a Mormon Bachelorette. She's gonna be their first Mormon Bachelorette," and then they did
Okay,
Taylor Frankie Paul
I'm sorry,
instead.
prescient in a way. I mean, we also do know that Latia has been filming season 4 of Secret Lives, like, I think as a friend of. So I think she'll appear at
Mm,
least in some, like, party scenes because she's become quite close with Miranda and Layla.
interesting. Yeah, no, that makes sense. They're all part of the same circle. I wonder if
Community.
she's a little bitter that Taylor snatched the Bachelorette
You know what?
right out from under her
It's all
nose.
just synergy, though. She's like, okay, I'll be on Secret Lives now.
It's making Mormons more famous than ever. Like, how could I hate that?
It's good for a rising tide,
Lifts all boats.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also like a ton of Bachelor people having babies right now. And I didn't put them all in here
Oh, yeah, I saw
because
Teddy.
yes, Teddy Wright, now Teddy Myers from Clayton season, is pregnant with for the first time with her husband. They're having a baby. Um, but it's not just them. It's like I think Crystal from Ari's season just had her
Yes.
second child. It actually sounds like that was a tough delivery. She was posting a lot of like excited content up to the delivery, like dancing in the hospital and stuff. But it sounds like it did not go super smoothly. But they're both okay now. She had a son, her second child with her husband. So wishing them the best and that they'll be able to bring him home soon. Hannah Ann is also, I think, due any
Yes.
day, or a lot of people having so many babies.
Yeah, Kayla Quinn is pregnant with her third.
Yes, she's getting far along too.
Yeah.
Lauren Lane, who was Ben
I mean,
Higgins'
it's
winner,
just hard
is
to
having
keep
her
up at this
fourth.
point because there's just so many people
Peter
in
Krause
Bachelor
did
Nation.
Peter Krause did a gender reveal with his partner.
I did see
I think
that.
they're having a girl, I think. Yeah, so a lot
Mazel to all of these people.
future bachelors and bachelorettes of America.
Start the casting process young from the fetus.
That was like my least favorite thing people used to say to me when I was pregnant with my first son. Like, oh, is he going to be the bachelor one day? I was like, you take that back right now. Never.
You're like,
I'm hiding
please.
him in a box.
The
And
Bachelor of Truck Nation.
I almost forgot. Did we mention that Becca Kufrin is having her
No.
second?
Very, very happy for Becca and Thomas. I just love them.
Yeah.
They seem really happy.
Yeah, they're if I could just pick one bachelor person's life to step into, I feel like it would be theirs. Like they've got it all figured out.
They just seem
they
very
seem like they're
solid.
thriving. Yeah, so congrats to all of them. And I think that's all we have for today.
Yep, that's it for this episode of Love to See It with Emma and Claire. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe to our channel.
Love to See It is a presentation of Odyssey. The show is produced by us, Claire Fallon and Emma Gray. Our production assistant is Tatiana Kinney-Smith, who also edits our video. This episode was edited by John Bahar. Our theme music is by Tamar Haviv, and our art is by Aaron Nestor.
If you like our show, remember to follow us, rate us 5 stars, leave a review, and of course, spread the word to all of your friends about Love to See It.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at claireandemmapod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on TikTok at Love to See It Pod and on Instagram at Claire and Emma Pod. And you can find our newsletter Rich Text on Substack at claireandemma.substack.com. I'm also on Blue Sky at Emma Gray and on Instagram at Emma Lady Rose.
And I'm at Claire E. Fallon. Special thanks to the team at Odyssey, Eric Donnelly, Peter Arriaga, Kate Rose, Moira Curran, Melissa Wester, and Hillary Schoaf.
We'll be back soon.
Can you keep up?